Hi guys, welcome to another Wednesday clip show. Aaron Macy, g'day mate.
How are you, matey?
I'm not bad, how are you?
Yeah, good, after a nice little Saturday.
Yeah, it was a big day for a lot of people, both in Sydney and Melbourne, which was, I suppose it was great, because we sort of promised a big weekend.
Yeah, Dow put us under the pump and said everyone was going to have a big day, and I think everyone pretty much had a good day. I had a bloody crap load of seconds, but still had one big result that kind of jackpotted me through. So
beautiful. I hope the
thank God for it.
Punters at home grab something. Today, our special guest on the clip show is a position we haven't had yet. It's a jockey manager, Bryan Haskins.
Yeah, he's well known in the industry and looks after probably two of the best in Sydney.
Exactly.
Blake Shin, Hugh Bowman, and also Jason Collett, Rising Star.
Yeah, so we'll have some good questions for him, and he'll explain what it's like to be a jockey manager.
He's also interesting seeing the way that he does form.
Yeah, exactly, and punting and stuff like that. So we'll ask Cheers is his nickname. We'll ask him all that. Nick Ashburn, you caught up with him this morning?
Yeah, caught up with Nick. Back from his holiday, spending up, living the good life. It's good to see him back there at work. Yeah,
Nick's back, and we haven't got Dallas for the mounting yard, but you're going to go through a bit of a rundown from Saturday.
Yeah, there's a few interesting first up horses we can get a guide on.
Yep, and look, this week the Wednesday show is brought to you by Pro Better Live as it's our main sort of product this week. The great news is a guy called John Walter joined on board, and he's a pro punter, worked with some of the big names like Jelko and a few other people who we can't say. He's a very connected man, very switched on. He joined Pro Better Live last week, and he had a little win to start off, which is refreshing.
Yeah, very refreshing. It always seems to be the hoodoo of the first day of your new product. It never seems to have much luck.
Exactly.
Good to see it kick off with a small win.
No, his set looks really good, and there's a bonus this week, which is what the show is brought to you by. If you buy any of the $20 products or more on the Want to Follow website, you get the Pro Better Live included for this weekend.
Beautiful.
That's Pro Better Live's normally $99, so grab any of those sets that's available. We'll have a list on our website under here for information. But yeah, $20 product gets you the 99 Pro Better Live.
Beautiful.
All right, that's the little promo for today. Let's throw to Nick Ashburn this morning at track work.
Welcome down at Royal Randwick. Sun's out. Feeling good. It's good to see another 2 weeks of sun.
Yeah, it's been nice and sunny up in Port Douglas. So it was good to come back to something at least in the same vicinity.
Obviously, because Nick's been betting up of late and tipping a few winners, he decided to take a week off before the carnival started. So.
Yeah, no, needed the break, trust me.
Needed the break, as we all do.
Yes. Now,
what have you got for us this week, man?
Yeah, look, obviously first day back today, so I haven't seen the horses for a couple of weeks or a week and a half or so. So I'm just feeling my way back in. I thought the gallop of the morning was Arabian Gold.
Yep.
That was just my opinion. She worked with Cafe Society. You'd expect her to probably beat him at this stage. They ran 1200 metres and I had them in 124, 36.9 and 11.6 the last furlong. She had about maybe half or 3/4 of a length to spare over him and just looked really strong, ran right through the line.
Yep.
She's a horse, of course, that hasn't had a run yet for Gay, but she could be in for a pretty good spring. I don't know if she'll get to the real lofty races, but it wouldn't surprise me to see her take out some of those mares races along the way.
Yeah, some of them are good.
Yeah.
Just on Cafe Society, he trialled the other day, to me still looked fat. Is that how he looks around?
Yeah, look, I had a bit of a look at him this morning. He still looked a bit tubby, but that work will come off. Gabe will fix that pretty quickly. So, but he might be a horse that's another 6 or 12 months away. Like some of those imports just take a while. Who was that horse that Gay had? Well, the Offer himself. The Offer was a horse that took quite a while to settle in. And once he did, he was quite a good horse. So
he's actually back in work, back to the races. He walks with very early mile. Have you seen him in work?
Yeah, he galloped this morning, 1400 metres in 136, 35.7 last 600. Nice and slick for him.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me to see him go to run well in that Hawkesbury rolling mile. And don't forget, he's carrying a bit of residual fitness because they gave him a prep, and I think he went up to Queensland and had a run up there from him.
Yeah, he had the light prep.
Yeah, so he's still got a bit of residual fitness. Keen to see gust of wind on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, she's
Sarge
going real
gave
good.
a real good push in an interview we did with him last week, and yeah, so you actually like what you're saying as well.
Yeah, I've had I had something small on her a few weeks ago, just in the Cups races. I'm always reluctant about those Oaks winning fillies, backing them when they step up. It's just such a quantum leap for them to take, but she's showing all the signs. She looks like she's got more of a turn of foot now than she did.
Yeah.
Which I think is a pretty key thing for a horse like her going to those races. She ran today, she ran 36.5 for her last 600 metres. She did it really nicely, and I think she could be in for a decent preparation. So
yeah, well, he's definitely got the Melbourne Cup as the goal.
Yeah, we know she can stay.
She's a horse that will stay all day.
Yeah. What else we got here? Cosmic Endeavour. She of course trialled well the other day.
She's trialled well twice. There's one that made the trial twice for me.
Yeah, does she?
Do you think she's ready to win first up?
On a work she sort of is, but knowing the horse, she usually
takes that one, right?
Takes a run or two, yeah.
But she does look like she's hinting towards being a little bit more forward than she did in the past.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. So I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to Gay and caught up with most of the guys about where they're going to kick these horses off and exactly. So I can't help you, unfortunately, there. We saw Sapara this morning. You came out. Yeah, I got 11.2 for the last 200 metres, which is pretty standard for her. She zips up nicely. She looks in really good order, as you said. And I think she's a horse that we can back next start.
Yeah, she looks one that looks really close to the mark I've seen her this morning.
Yeah, I like to see her ridden with a bit of cover as well, which obviously she doesn't always get the opportunity to do that in Gay stable, but I do think she's a filly with a nice burst of speed, and just needs to be saved up really. As we see a couple of Anthony's horses going past.
Beautiful.
Marseille Roulette, pretty typical for him. He flew, he had the quickest last 200 of the day, and I think probably the quickest the last 600, 34.6 and 10.7. Armand Paul galloped with Bohemian Lily this morning. She looks fantastic, Armand Paul. I think she's, when I say she looks fantastic, she's still got a little bit of condition on her. But I think she's in for a huge spring.
First trial was outstanding. I thought the second trial she kind of looked a little bit dour.
Yeah. Well, look, you've got to remember she's a Group 1 winner over a mile, and it took her, I think she was 3rd or 4th up, and she won at 3rd up in the last prep. I suspect she's at least a mile, if not maybe even a 2,000 metre horse in time. And she's that real strong front running type, which those types of horses typically don't peak until they and they don't peak until they get to 5 or 6, do they really?
Yeah, exactly.
Just because the manner in which they run is it's not good for a young horse.
Yeah. Another horse you've been speaking about, Speed Fondly, getting with the races.
Yeah.
Still as keen as you were a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I didn't see her this morning. She just had a trot and canter, so she didn't gallop this morning. So I need to speak to the stable and see where she is. Like I said, I haven't seen any of these horses for 2 weeks. So of what I last saw, 100%. But I didn't get a chance to see her gallop this morning, so I can't really say what's going to happen with her. I need to speak to the stable. I know she's nominated for Silver Shadow on Saturday. So maybe she's had a gallop. Maybe she'll have a gallop tomorrow. I'm not too sure. What else we got, mate? So that's pretty much about it. Flamboyant Lass always goes for English is going good. That's stating the obvious, so I think everyone can see her flying.
Yeah, well, like you said, there's been such a big spruik. Even I spoke to David from the stable. They came to the trials one day. English sat off her this morning.
Yeah, bang.
5 links on here. That's like what she looked like.
Yeah. So
what distance do you think English will get out to this round?
I still think she's a sprinter.
I think she's a sprinter too. She looks like a dead set run-on sprinter.
Yeah, she's a run-on sprinter. She might get 1400 or something like that. It's hard for the fillies though, because to win a Group 1 as a filly in fillies races, you've got to go to the flight stakes of 1,000 guineas, so you've got to get them out to the mile. Gay's pretty good at getting horses to stretch. So either we're wrong or she'll have to work a bit of magic.
Exactly.
Let's hope it's the latter.
Alright, well thanks again, Nick, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Definitely.
See you guys.
Alright, that was Nick and yourself down at track work. Did you get a bit out of that this morning?
Yeah, we did. It'd be good. It'd be interesting to see what he says in the coming weeks, and we'll be very keen just to see how forward and how well Speak Fondly goes, because he has had a good rap on the horse.
Speak Fondly, so you spoke more about Speak Fondly, exciting. The stable are pretty keen there.
Yeah, stable keen, but from what we've seen at the trials, English looks to be the one that I'm kind of keen to back at the sprint trips anyway.
Okay, sounds good. Look, just another little recap of some of our success on the weekend. It was a huge day. We had, well, the RSPs had a massive day, along with like Japona's me, I suppose, was their sort of highlight horse. They were very keen on it, even though you'd think they would have gone with Vancouver because they were such the data horse last time, so well done to the boys there.
Yeah, I think Dow highlighted that it was going to be a real hard run race, and what they realised is you did want the fit horse, and it was a horse that had obviously shown that he does have the ability. And there's one thing that I pointed out on the show as well, is it's interesting to see where we still need to see this old 2-year-old form step up to the plate and carry on.
Sure do. It's not happening yet. It's not happening yet.
It hasn't happened yet. Like,
no.
We saw good signs from Vancouver, but at the same time,
I suppose Sebring Sun's the only one who was just sort of has picked up a couple of races. One was on a Wednesday. But,
one was on a Wednesday, it was a Sunday.
But not top level. Certainly not top level races just yet. So far, Japonisme gets the cash. Start wondering. That was the boom result for you, especially, and a few people. Yeah,
it's a huge result for me. I took the early price myself and had a very good result. He was one that looked to have real good ability from the trials. Loved his action. Just looked to be a horse with plenty of improvement. Big gelded.
Yeah.
Seen him down the trials and saw that he was quite forward for the run, and liked all his New Zealand stuff. I think he'll improve from the run. I think he'll improve stepping up and trip. That'll be a big one for him. And yeah, whether he gets to the mile or possibly even 2000, I think he seems to be going really, really well.
And I thought, I know you have been tipping it on the show, but also once I read the RSPs and saw that his New Zealand numbers were outstanding, you must have been pretty confident when you read that, when it doubles up.
It's always nice when it all marries up, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so there it is. So big day in Sydney. In Melbourne, Darren Potter had a massive day, both in the Pro Better Live chat room and his own set. He would have won about 40% on turnover, so a massive day. He would have won about 30-something odd units, so well done to Daz. The Melbourne Phantom, who does the tips for One to Follow, had a big day as well. So he's seeing them very well, the Phantom.
He's seeing them very well. And he said, take the shorts. Don't worry about the shorts, just truckload. And that's what we like to see.
It was a bit of an A from B day, but we went the right way, and so did Darren, so that was great.
It's always tricky those days. Those A from B days can always...
Yeah, no, exactly. You got to make the choices. And the people who also made good choices were Dallas, who sort of runs the There They Are set. He makes the calls on which tipsters we're going to use from. So Dow had a massive day, but There They Are, which has been very good, and the Super 6 also had done a strong day.
Strong day.
And it was probably quite a few. The Fletch Files is seeing them pretty well as well, and Mark Lambourne's set launched last weekend, and that's a great value set. And yeah, look, Mark's tipping about 4 or 5 meetings a week, and it's only $20, so I'm sure he's grabbed plenty of winners along the week.
Yeah, he's just been chipping away.
He does. Well. Alright, now we've talked about some of this stuff, let's throw to our feature interview with Bryan Haskins.
Excellent.
G'day, welcome to our Wednesday feature interview, and it's nice to have Bryan Haskins as our special guest. G'day, Bryan.
Hi, Bryan.
You're known as Cheers. Is that just the friends and family, or is that everyone knows you as Cheers
pretty much
now?
Everyone.
How did that all happen?
Well, when I first came from England, it was 89.
Right.
And I got a job at Jack Denham.
Yeah, we've got that.
Yeah, so he was in Brisbane, and he picked me up from Brisbane and drove me to Sydney. And apparently all the way down, that's all I said was cheers, cheers, cheers. So when I got the stables, they said, "Oh, what's his name?" And he went, "Cheers." And that was it. So I stuck from, I got it for life.
That was it. So obviously we've got, you know, a jockey manager, one of the biggest in Australia, I suppose, got 2 of the biggest names. But before you were jockey manager, you were working at Alan Denham's.
Yeah, I was there for about 10 years at Jack's, and I was foreman for probably 3 or 4 years, and wrote a lot of track work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, after about 10 years, I gave the stables away and just wrote track work for a year or 2. And then got into managing.
Oh, so it's pretty much, what, 10 years was it?
10 years at Jack's, yeah. 10 years.
Okay. And did you just pick up to the guys that you know and around the area?
I was walking down the road one day and I bumped into Corey Brown, and he just said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just writing track work. He said, well, would you like to manage me? I said, well, I don't know, what do I do? He said, I don't know, you just ring people up.
Yeah.
chase rides, and I said, I'll give it a go, and we went from there. So, and because I had Corey at the start, and he was just battling, because he's such a good jockey, he was always going to come through.
Yeah.
So we were a good team, you know, and he built up, and then from him going good, I got other jockeys, you know.
Yeah, right.
So it was just a bit of luck.
So a bit of luck. But it was a slow progression, and you got there.
Yeah.
Were there many jockey managers at that time? Everyone had one or not?
No,
was this the start of the jockey?
There was a few around, but there wasn't too many. Duffersey, I think, was doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve Halliwell, if you remember him. But there was a lot. There's a lot more now, obviously, but there wasn't too many.
And did you have Corey all the way through till he left to go to Singapore?
I would have had Corey. I don't know how long I had Corey for. A long time.
Yeah.
10 years, 12. Yeah. Until he went to Hong Kong.
Okay, Hong Kong.
Whichever year that was. I'm not sure.
Was he hard to deal with?
No. Champion, you know that.
Yeah. He's a good
we were best mates. He was my best man at my wedding.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And because I'd travel everywhere with him, you know, we'd go to Coffs Harbour, Grafton, just in the car every day.
Yeah.
Track work with him.
Yeah.
So we were pretty close.
And that is that sort of stock standard sort of now for jockey managers, or now that you've been around long enough, you don't need to do that now?
Mate,
at first, it was a lifestyle.
That's all. I just had Corey, and I didn't know anything else. So it was fun, and I was going races, you know. But no, you get too much done at home now.
Yeah.
You know, it's too much time wasting going to the races and the travelling. I mean, you waste 3 hours in the car going back to the races, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You do a lot of work at home, like replays and.
Yeah.
So I hardly go to the races now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll touch on Blake Shen and Hugh Bowman as two of the guys that you manage, along with Jason Collett and Jay Ford. Let's start about the process of getting the boys, any of your boys, on a horse. From what we're hearing, you're having to book sometimes months and weeks in advance.
It has changed a lot. When I started, it was. Maybe a few days before noms, people might ring and the noms come out and you start chasing. But now, it's 2 weeks before the noms are even out. People are ringing and chasing. You've got to. It's become a lot harder because obviously you're going to make more mistakes now.
Yeah.
Because you've got to.
Is that in with double booking?
You've got to think. It's not double booking, not so much, but just taking a wrong ride. You get chased for a good ride, and you go. You're trying to think, well, what's going to be in that race, but you might miss one.
Yeah.
And you take the ride 2 weeks out, and then a week later, so and so rings and goes, that horse is. He won it last time. What are you talking about? I've booked someone. I've taken another ride, and that's where it becomes harder.
Yeah.
But it's just changed so much. Yeah.
I suppose a great advantage for you, especially having two of the best riders in town.
If I do, make a mistake and book a jockey for this ride, I can always say, well, I've got Huey or Blake for this one, and a lot of them go, okay. Yeah. That helps. That's a bit of a help. I don't like doing that, but it can be helpful.
Yeah.
But does it also make it harder for the fact of you do have two of the premier riders, so they should be on a lot of the trainers like to think that they should have the two premier riders on the two premier horses in each race?
I don't have many dramas where they both should be on the same horse. I don't know, it works out. Like Chris Waller will send me his email 2 weeks out, and I want Blake on that, I want Huey on that. And
so they pick him out.
And then Peter Stone's the same. He'll say, I want Blake for that, and I want Huey for that. So they get on their right horses. There's not too many
much
dramas.
of a say in that.
What
in which horses can you say
they
want to ride this or?
Oh, I mean, I can ring up. They can ride them in a trial. I can ring up and say, look, you really like that. You'd like to ride it, but it's a lot to do with the owners as well. And,
the connections that they've made. Yeah,
it's
Who's the better judge of the two of them at finding the young horses?
Both as good as each other. What do you want me to say there?
It's a standard answer.
Let's discuss the personalities sort of individually.
Well, they're all different.
Hugh seems to come across as he's got a hunger, but he's also got.
You're spot on. He's got the hunger. He really wants to win everything, but he won't stress them as much if things don't go wrong.
Yeah.
Which is good because what racing's like. You can do your head in if you have a bad week or 2 weeks where things don't fall into place, you'll go mad. But there'll be a week where everything he does goes wrong, and things he could have rode, win, and he's not on them. And in another week, you'll end up with 4 or 5 rides that look fair, and that just all win.
Yeah.
So it all evens out over the year, doesn't it? You know.
It all balances.
So,
And how, like with you, how much do you have to pump your boys up and sort of manage them through sort of ups and downs, or do they do it themselves with their family and friends? What point does the manager step away?
Look, you know what? You are a bit of a listener for them, and mentor. You got to. They're all different. You got to, say to one, wake up yourself, or another one just.
Okay.
I know, you'll be right. Just relax, So it's just knowing your different guys and how to handle them. But mate, they're all pretty good.
Yeah. Did it take you a while to learn that, like managing people?
I don't know. I just didn't really learn. I just get the feel of how they are, and you just know how to talk to each one differently. I don't,
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm pretty laid back, and I don't get too stressed. So maybe that helps.
Okay.
And you touched briefly on sort of doing some video watching and stuff. You do videos and trials and stuff yourself?
Yeah, you've got to keep up with all that, haven't you?
Yeah.
But there's so much racing now; it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the trials just never end, do they?
What are the little sort of tricks and keys that you can sort of give the punters at home in regards to trials? Like, we had Brenton Abdallah on a few weeks ago saying, 740 metre trials, horses can win by 5, but there's nothing under the bonnet sort of scenario.
I think you get to know. I think the time of a trial is important. Anything can look good in a slow trial, can't it? Going 2 minutes slower than another one, they can look good. You get to know where trials are good or average, like Hawkesbury trials.
Yeah.
They don't stand up too good, do they?
No,
rarely.
And I think 740 trials don't help a race day as much as 900 do they at Rosehill. So
no, exactly.
Once you're doing the form and you start backing losers out of these trials, you soon work out how to handle them, don't you?
Yeah.
So.
Were you much of a punter yourself before you, like obviously with the Jack Denham stable with the kite? Is that where you learnt your craft?
I wish I didn't have $20 on them back then when I was at Jack's, because I'd have a bit more. Because when they went to the track and Alan or Jack would say they'd be winning, they'd just usually win.
Yeah.
And you'd have your $20 on them.
Yeah.
Go over the road and have a beer, and it was all gone. So.
So if you knew what you knew now.
It would be a lot better.
So there's no that sort of perception that of the Denhams being a gun punting stables. Are they still out there anymore?
Those stables?
Yeah.
I don't think they are. No,
doesn't seem like it.
No, I don't think there's many around, is there?
No.
It's so much more prize money, and it's it's all about that now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Seems to be all that. I think the Perry stable can still lost the occasional here and there.
Well, I wish there was more of it, because it's part of the game.
We all wish there would be a lot more of it.
Well, it seems every time it does, there's a massive stewards inquiry into what's going on.
Yeah. So I think 9 times out of 10 they're just showing it. They're looking into it. I think they realise there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Don't they? I mean, racing's pretty clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you look at Betfair, right? And racing is pretty clean, but the punters, when something drifts late on Betfair and stuff, and there's whispers around, like, have you ever heard things that no one else has heard about what's happening? Is it all a bit mythical?
I probably have, but I just don't even. I don't really listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
You hear too many things, you just don't know what's true.
You hear so much rubbish in racing too.
Yeah.
You gotta take all that out. I just like to do my own thing, do the form.
Yeah.
Trust your eye.
That's it. You start listening to stuff, you go mad, won't you?
Yeah.
So we touch back on form. So what do you use for form? Do you use data or ratings or anything like that?
I do a lot of video replays. I basically just I bet mainly in maidens and bush and provincial. Hardly bet in the city.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why. There's no reason for it. I just found I could win there easier.
Yeah, I suppose
you can't do everything.
Less people putting in as much.
On a Sunday at Narromine, you could find things. You might think it should be 3 to 1, and it'll be 6, 7 to 1. You won't find that in town.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's too many clever blokes doing it, and you can't do everything. So I'm happy just to stick to a little area.
Yeah.
And try and win at that. But
yeah. Have you had any good success sort of in the last few months? You could tell a little story of something
last
you
few
found,
months,
or
it's been a long time since I've had success. I've been away for a month. So.
Any good stories along the way, whether it was a tip off from one of the boys riding a horse, or whether something you just found yourself?
No, I had a big double one once. Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup.
Okay, yeah.
$20 double.
That's right.
It was tiny. I tell you what, I like Northerly, and I think that everyone thought he wasn't going to run in the Caulfield Cup.
I love Northerly, yeah.
This is, I don't know what year, 99?
Yeah.
And everyone thought he wasn't running. I thought he'll be running. So, and he was 30 to 1. So I thought, I'll try and find some in the Melbourne Cup. And I couldn't find many, and I picked out 3 horses. One was Media Puzzle.
Okay.
So I had a $20 double Northerly. 30s in the Media Puzzle at 150s. So I got 110,000 for $20.
Wow.
From Bill Hurley.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, I remember I flew down to Melbourne, spent a bit there, and then I think I bought for some reason I bought 2 brand new cars.
Where did you watch the race?
I watched it. I went to the races.
Yeah, you're in Melbourne.
No, I was at Randwick.
Right. Yeah.
And everyone was driving me mad because they knew I had this bet going.
Yeah.
And I thought I got to go home, so I went home, ended up watching it home.
Yeah.
Watch it
and then won.
Oh, you left the race.
Left the races, went home, watched it at home. Never even felt like I was going to lose.
Yeah.
I wasn't even stressed.
Yeah.
And then it won. I went and booked 2 flights
was this
to Melbourne.
before it won at Geelong, or had it?
This is for the Melbourne.
Oh, yeah,
I backed it.
But you backed it before it even won at
in
Geelong.
September.
So when it won at Geelong, you must have been.
When I won at Geelong, I was at Wild Races.
Yeah.
And Pollock walked past me.
Yeah.
He said, "You're home." She said, "It's all over."
He put the big
He
box
just
on.
went, "No," he said, "It's all over." You asked him. Yeah, he said,
Where's the,
"Yeah." I went, "Oh,
where's
you
the
reckon?" He
catching
went,
up
"Yeah."
button? Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a good weekend. Or good few days, yeah.
And I suppose how much form do you do with the boys and comparing notes on how to ride a horses? Are all trainers like telling
I
you?
don't do much.
Yeah.
If they want to ring me in the morning, they can ring me. I honestly don't ring them and drive them mad because they're smart guys.
Yeah.
They pretty much know what they want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you got to listen to the trainer what he wants to do anyway. So there's no point me. You know, if I think I know something about a horse that they don't really know, I could help them with.
Yep.
I'll tell them, but I don't drive them mad.
Yeah.
You know?
And with Jay Ford and Collett, I suppose. Well, Collett's obviously. Well, both boys have had success on metros, but how different is the sort of midweek and provincial circuit, and how much more work is required to go in there?
No, look, it's all similar.
It's all relative.
You know. Yeah, Jay's decided to move away from the city and go to provincials and bush, and now he's going really good there. So you know, it's like doing Huey or Blake, I reckon. When he gets an hour in Canberra and that, you know.
Yeah, they're all after him.
He's kind of the top of the tree there, isn't he?
He goes good there. So you know, he was riding in town and riding 2 or 3 horses at 40, 50 to 1. It just wasn't worth it. There's no point.
Becomes
you got to ride winners to enjoy, don't you?
Yeah.
And
how do you think Jason Collett's going? Because he was the one that kind of came with the big sprue.
Well, you know, he had a really good season. He had a really good season last season.
Yeah.
What, he ran 8th or 9th, which is pretty good. Sydney's very strong, isn't it?
Yep.
And he's still got a lot of improvement. You know, he's still young, and you know, he's given another 4 or 5 years, he could be real good.
Yep.
Do you think he has that hunger there? The one thing with him is that as you know, he's very laid back, relaxed kind of a guy. Has he got that same? Because you see James McDonald is quite relaxed as well, but James is very hungry.
Yeah.
Do you think he has that same?
It'll come.
I reckon.
Scenario.
Yeah, I reckon it'll come. Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm sure he has, but when he gets to taste of them big winners, I reckon.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's like you're probably different. You're always in racing straight away, but when I was playing cricket at like a good level, like first grade, I was still out Friday nights. It didn't click to me that it was a career potentially if you put hard work in. So that he's still young, isn't he? Not knowing, not knowing what he wants to do, I suppose, and how serious it gets.
You still got to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, you got to enjoy yourself.
You know, if you're too narrow-minded and focused on, you got to. What's the point? You got to do the fun.
Definitely.
And do you, the boys, sort of goal setting for the new season in any way?
Not right at the start. I mean, I think they just want to ride Group 1 winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Premiership will be as, not for Huey anyway, it won't be as much of a focus this year.
Yeah.
It's very, the Premiership's so hard because it's just full on, non-stop.
Well, let's talk about how
You have
full
to
on.
have a break in it.
Yeah, how is it too full on? Is there a real burnout scenario
Yeah,
right now?
absolutely.
And do the punters need to be wary when the boys are down, that they're down for a bit? And they're not just your boys, all the jockeys.
They were cutting back on the provincials, which helped.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You know,
Yeah.
but I just think they all need 3 or 4 weeks off in
July.
July's not much.
July seems to
Just
be the month, even punting wise,
Yeah,
it's a month
absolutely.
I could have taken off.
Yeah, you just got to have a break.
Yeah.
Just
So
wear you down.
too much racing is just the general consensus. Everyone says it, I suppose,
Well,
besides
it's
the
not- but it's not.
administrators.
Yeah, well, it's just not going to stop, is it? It's too much money.
And we all love it, but even, you know, when
Yeah.
you love something so much and you still know you need a break
Oh,
from it, it's just...
Yeah, that means that we need a break, don't we?
we need a break. It's too much.
We do love it, but I always like to go away for like a month if I can in July. But this year it's different because of the Premiership, so
Yeah.
So you had to stick
I only
around.
got 2.5 weeks.
Will you be well, I know Blake's gone over to Europe a few times. Is that part of the plan, perhaps?
Blake would love to go. He'd love to ride around the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's just hard when you're in Australia, isn't it? It's not like you're in Europe.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game over here. It's, you know, you can get to Singapore maybe and a bit of Hong Kong, but you know.
So that's something that he's really...
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Don't know, not so much for a full stint, but
He doesn't mind doing
I'm sure he'd go
it.
to Hong Kong eventually. But I'm sure I think he likes just pushing himself, you know.
Why is Hong Kong so attractive? Just for those that don't know the inner workings of it.
It's just the money, really. Is
it a contract? Is it just the prize money?
It's the here they get 5%.
Yeah.
I think over there they get 9%.
Okay.
So there's double, and then tax is 15%.
All right.
So it's
So
a big
it's a
difference,
big
isn't it?
difference.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's monstrous
So-
turnaround.
Yeah, it's almost probably add up to be double though.
I mean, the racing's great, but I think our racing's better.
Yeah, well, the reason why
Well, the
Hong
better
Kong,
horses, I think.
yeah, the reason why the punters love Hong Kong because it's like Wednesday and Saturday, and they don't
They're just
sort of,
pumped.
yeah, and you're all just ready to go
Yeah.
and punt. Whereas,
But the actual races and the horses, like we've got the more variety, haven't we?
yeah,
Everything's the same over there.
Everything's the same each week.
Yeah,
But they seem to have a model that works,
they do.
and that's probably something we need to look
But
at.
as far as jockeys goes, it's the money.
yep,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they'd much rather ride a Melbourne Cup winner, wouldn't they, than a,
Yeah.
you know, the Derby winner in Hong Kong.
yep.
I'd have thought.
You'd think.
And you've obviously done very well out of the situation, and you're probably #1 jockey manager in Australia, like I mentioned. But do you think there's room for more jockey managers? Are there too many guys doing it on an amateur level?
Well, they are, but that's only because they haven't got.
Can afford it?
Well, that's
Or-
right. Yeah, you can't live off it. So unless
you
you've got a couple of good jockeys,
Yeah,
you've got to do something else.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's only room for probably like 2 or 3 in Sydney and then same in Melbourne, I suppose. So.
Is that right? So there'd only be
Unless
I
yeah.
know what would it be?
Yeah, I suppose we've got
I
the
think Mark Esther's just taken over.
He's got James,
Time.
yeah, that's right. For
And he's already got Craig.
Craig, so
Williams.
he's got one of each. That's handy.
have you thought about that, or you've got plenty on your plate?
Honestly, yeah,
time.
it'd be good, but it just couldn't keep up. It's just like a whole new job.
Yep.
Me following Melbourne,
Yeah.
that'd be be a bit too much.
Yep.
Because it's full on. I mean, phone doesn't stop.
Yep.
Well, it hasn't rung yet, has it?
We'll say we put it on silent.
Yeah, it is.
It just missed out on the
The battery's gone.
Yeah.
So leading into the carnivals, what sort of horses do you look for? Like I saw Huey's Road start wondering on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, is it a horse that's looking a bigger spring?
It would be. It would be. It's got a little way to go, though,
Yeah, it's a long way to go.
Yeah.
But they're like these, some of
There's
these
also
horses,
like a nice
like
horse to
horses.
watch. A horse like Flamingo Star, he likes.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
We just spoke about it.
I mean, he rides a lot. My boys ride a lot for Waller, Snowden, you know, and there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the stable there for me, you know. So yeah.
So it helps. It's
Alright.
easy having the top of the
Yeah.
tree picking.
No, you've done very well. It's a skill, and obviously the boys have been attracted to you and what you've done for other
Well, I've had
people in
Huey
the
for a long
past.
time too. I had him. I don't know how long I've had him. Not long after his apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Many stinks along the way with
Yeah.
the boys. Is that right? Trainers?
Not hardly any.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had a couple.
You haven't worked with O'Shea too much. Or...
You know what? That's a myth. That's a myth.
Is it? So
John
he's
is-
not really Rick
he's a
O'Shea.
legend.
Oh
No,
wow!
I've never.
You have to cut that
I've never had a
out. John,
trouble. Never
John
had a
doesn't
drama.
get compliments on the Punters show. No, he's alright.
Never had a drama with
Fair
him.
enough.
He's
Great.
always happy and always laid back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gay Waterhouse and how?
Well, we don't really deal with Gay.
Yep.
She deal with Ed
Yep.
in the office or whoever's
Yep.
been in the office. So.
Yep.
I've had. Me and Chris have had a few clashes. Well,
Okay.
only because he wants the best, and
Yeah.
you know, I try to help him.
Yeah.
You know,
You do. Everyone's
I'm going to upset him sometimes because
Yep.
I'm going to knock back horses he thinks that the boys should be riding.
Mhm.
And, you know, he's going to get upset with that. But
It's the game.
I can't think of any real big blues I've had.
Well, that's good. I suppose.
I'm not a fighter.
Not a fighter.
That's good. I think we've done pretty well out of Bryan.
So who's been your favourite of all of them? Who's been the easiest to manage?
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've got to put one hard
Easiest to
question in.
manage.
You have to pick one.
Corey was easy.
Corey.
Huey's pretty easy. Jason's easy. I've had Corey, yeah, it's been... who else?
Corey probably being the one that kicked off the whole
Well,
career,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
He's the one
But
that's
no, most of them are pretty good.
Is Bryan going to come back? Is he going to come back to Australia and finish
I
off
asked
his
him the other
career?
day because there was rumours going around he was coming back, but he said no.
Yeah.
He said, why would I come back?
Yeah.
He said, how am I going to fit in? He said,
Right.
Oh, you know.
Well, Glenn Pollitt's got about 2 years left on his life plan.
I think he's
So
gonna- yeah, I wonder how much-
once Glenn's knocked himself off, then maybe.
Yeah, he won't get abused then.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 years left, does he? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
2
was
years
back to 1 after last week, so it just depends how he went this Saturday.
Oh, he had about, okay.
Yeah.
How was
It'll
he
be
going?
3 weeks
Is he
by
going right?
Wednesday.
Yeah, he's going good.
He's
We'll
going good.
probably see him around quick.
Oh, good.
All right, I think we've done well. Bryan Haskins, thanks for joining us on the
Cheers,
Punter
thank
Show.
you.
No problem.
And we look forward to having you on another time.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Cheers.
All right, that was Cheers, as he's known, Bryan Haskins, and look, he's got some awesome jockeys on his books, but it also takes a real art form to book those horses in so far in advance.
Yeah, well, I think probably the difficult thing is that he really has to make the decisions because you've got trainers that are calling all the time saying, ride my horses, and you do need to make those decisions and get them right for those big races because they'd obviously expect the best from him too.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed some of those questions we asked him about punting and how he uses his information, if he does, to to make some money on the punt. So I hope that was interesting for all you prospective jockey managers out there.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Okay, and the tournament of the week, we're just 11 days, looking at my phone, I think we're about 11 days from the Memsey tournament, which is their feature, the tournament of the month they're calling it, which is the $550 buy-in tournament.
I think they've already got 8 runners, I believe. Something.
Eight runners in there, and this weekend is yet another chance to qualify. $55 buy-in. I'm assuming it's going to be for the Melbourne meeting again. And it'll be...
Yeah, it's for the Memsey meeting, I believe. They're looking at getting, I think it's roughly, they're aiming for about 30 runners and giving away at least 20,000 in prize money.
Yep, so this weekend, one more chance to qualify for that big tournament next week, where you finish in the top 3 or 4 this weekend and you'll go through. So check the Top Better website for the tournaments, and yeah, 55. Otherwise, it's $550 for the next week.
I'm keen to see how the Glenster steps up down with the Melbourne form again.
Exactly. Let's have a quick look at the trials now. There's a nice little trials at Rose Hill, which you cast your eye over.
Yeah, there wasn't as many of the group horses. Mainly a couple of maidens. There was just probably 3 horses that really stood out.
Okay. Well, let's start off with one of your favourites in the purple, Boban.
Yes, his trial was exceptional. His first trial back this time is just mind-blowingly good. You were there with me, you've seen it. He's backed it up with another trial. He probably raced a little bit keen when they went slow early, but I'm kind of taking that into a little bit of a sign that he's just really flourished. He's really keen, and I'm tipping he's going to run a really big race first up. My only fear is he's possibly going to Melbourne, and I'm still not 100% sure that his Melbourne form's his best form. But I do think the horse is going well, and if he finds a suitable race, I think he could quite easily be winning first up.
Okay, Boban, let's have another one. You've got a horse here, Flamingo Star. Now, Flamingo Star, who's got that?
Chris Waller as well.
Okay.
It had just had the 2 starts up in Brisbane.
Familiar.
Ran second. I bet up on it. Ran second to Strawberry Boy up in Brisbane.
Oh, okay, I remember that. Yep.
Look, he's a horse that's definitely going to improve with blinkers. I think he could possibly be a horse they're looking to set for an Epsom.
Okay.
If they can get his rating up enough. He's just come back in the one. Quiet trial at the back. He's got a beautiful action. He still looked to be quite fat and pudgy. I'd expect to see him probably have one more trial and then get to the races. Okay. And he could probably run a cheeky race first up, but I think when they either set him for the Epsom or get the blinkers on him, that's the day you really want to be finding him.
And this next horse, definitely one of yours, I'd categorise it, and maybe your firstborn might be named Sabrina.
No, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe if Brody Lloyd got out in the straight. Look, there's a horse that Bjorn took to the Oaks last prep. In my opinion, not an Oaks filly. She doesn't stay that trip. She showed that. I think 2000 probably sees her right there, but I think she's a better miler. Okay. And I think she'll probably go to like a sprint distance first up, and if it's at Randwick or... It just needs to have a good pace. I'd like to see running on. She's trialled well. She's always been a horse that shows good ability. She can win over those shorter trips as well. Okay. And I actually think she's better suited probably just running on in those sprint races. Okay. So she's come back well. She's not an overly big filly, so it doesn't take her too long to get fit. So I think the one trial should have done her the trick, and I'm expecting her to be racing well soon. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for the little Barrow trial wrap. Let's jump straight into the mounting yard from Saturday. We've got a few horses to talk about. Let's start with let's start with Peeping and Woodbine. Peeping, paraded disgraceful. Really? She's a horse that I thought would come back and look a lot stronger. She looked quite tucked up. She almost looks like a horse that was 5th up, 6th up. Right. Had a lot of hard runs and didn't over the top. Well. So she either doesn't spell well. She's always been quite a lightly framed filly. I'm not saying that she can't go on from here. Yep. But it's one that I'll be keeping a very close eye on in the yard because she didn't look overly well and she took a while to pick up. And I'd really like to see that she thrives on the racing and starts eating now and fills out a bit because from what I saw on Saturday, she didn't look like she'd have a lot left. After Woodbine, the gelded Woodbine returned. Yeah, he kind of lived up to how I thought he would from the trials and the fact of he looked very relaxed for him. Yeah, he sweated up a little bit. Yeah. But I think he was a fair bit better to how he used to be. Okay. But as we said before, leading into the race, he kind of looked quite dour, he looked quite lazy, he didn't look very switched on. He did look quite fat for a gay horse first up, so I would... You'd hope that he improves. There was a lot of money for him on track, and he didn't race quite well. So I'm expecting the blinkers to go back on him, and I do think he will improve with the blinkers in the run. Well, that's interesting because I was listening to the radio, and they sort of gave him a bit of a rap from the yard. So one of the value of listening to some people over others. Yeah, I couldn't say I'd give him a push, especially knowing Gay's horses. Yep, well that was a good advantage for those that had Pro Bet Alive on Saturday. Let's go to the next. Well, Countryman and also Centre Pivot, they fought out the finish. How do I say it? It wasn't much of a race in regards to how slow they went, but what did you make of both horses there? I thought Countryman just held his condition from the run before. He didn't look like he'd improved much more, but he didn't look like he got... I thought he looked fine for the run. If he tightened up any more, he would have gone over the top. He was one that looked fine. Yeah. Careless, on the other hand, was a horse that I didn't think paraded overly well. It had improved from the run. Okay. But what I'm seeing at the moment with a lot of these O'Shea horses, you've got these top liners like and the ones like Havana Kula. It paraded big, but it also paraded well, healthy, looked like a horse that's had a lot of attention to it. And some of these other horses similar to it, the other horse, Magic Hurricane, it was one that looked similar. a lot of improvement in it, but looked really well. We had a look at Careless, where it kind of looked like it'd been in a paddock somewhere.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is, but at the moment these second tier O'Shea horses seem to not be parading anywhere near as good. I don't know if it's just the quality of the horse or what it is, but they just seem to not parade the same.
Let's talk about the San Domenico, the feature with Vancouver returning as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, so he's come back. He's an exceptional horse to look at. He looks $1 million. I was having a chat to Peter Oval this morning, and that was the same way he explained him. He just said he just looks such a really, really nice horse. I thought he looked relatively forward. There was improvement in him. I wouldn't say there's a heap of improvement in it. Okay. In like looks anyway. I don't know what more to say about him. Like he kind of raced as expected in the sense of he's a little bit dour. I don't think 1100 metres is his go. Really weird rider tactics for a first up run when you are carrying such a big weight, and if you think the horse needs a run, I don't know, but it certainly wasn't the way. It
certainly rode him. They wanted to win. Yeah, it was a.
Well, I think if you're going to ride the win, you're better off taking the sit. Yeah, they should have been sitting where Punters me was.
No, just a tactic, strange bit of tactics there.
Which is quite weird from the Gay stable, especially with having such a wealth of knowledge with Robbie behind them. So they usually don't get that wrong, but it was something that they didn't get wrong.
A few people have said they've got it wrong.
And it was an interesting run, but it was a good run considering he had the weight, but I'd still like to see good improvement from him next start.
Okay, start wondering how much class does this horse have?
It's a hard one to say at the moment. Like I've got a good rap on the horse. I think I had that leading into the race.
For a Waller first up after a shortish spell, I suppose.
I think coming off the shortish spell was one thing. Plus he'd been gelded, so he's obviously tightened up. He's had the 2 trials. He's not an overly big horse. He's not real gross. He's kind of built like in the midst of a miler to a stayer, so he's not overly big and thick, so he's not going to hold too much condition. Does still have good improvement, get a little bit sticky behind and things like that. I think stepping up in trip will be the key thing to him, and I think you run that race another 9 times, I think he wins them at least 8 of them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I just think he was the right horse in the right race, and I do think he will progress.
Okay, and you touched on Havana Cooler, but a horse we haven't seen that much of, Orbeck.
Just back on him as well. I think he could possibly be Chris Waller's Ep. He could have the Epsom in mind for start wondering.
Okay.
Yeah, Havana Cooler, Orbeck. Orbeck did that same thing that Diametric came in. It must be a weird European thing. They came in and did the crab walk.
Really?
But the difference with Orbeck was he put it together and he raced quite well. He had a lot of improvement in him, same as Havana Cooler. They're both fat. Not horrendously fat, just they're going to take good improvement from the run. Both horses look very healthy in condition, and both look to be very nice, strong types. I think Orbeck looked to not really like to race inside those horses. It took him a while to get out, and once he did get clear, then he really attacked the line. But it was probably running out of condition at the same time. And God, you watch the race, I don't know how many times, and Havana Cooler just should have won. It was very, very unlucky, interesting ride by Sam Clipperton. But I'm pretty sure John O'Shea and him might not have had dinner together.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the Mountain Yard rundown, Az.
That's right.
And before we head off, just a reminder that any $20 product on One to Follow this weekend or more, you get Pro Better Live this weekend. So it's valued at $99 Pro Better Live. You'll get the Darren Potter Melbourne set. You'll get the new John Walter Sydney set. And then you'll also get the live interaction on the day, the mounting yard, the market moves, and we'll have a staking plan for you guys. So
excellent.
$20, any of those products or more on the One to Follow website, and you get Pro Better Live. That's it, Az. Thanks.
Yeah, that's good, and I think it's good to see the racing heating up still.
The race is great now. 2
cracking 3-year-old races. I think we said the return to Bedland off 2 strong trials tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
So another lightly raced filly from the Snowden camp that just seems to be on fire in Nancy. So it'd be interesting to see what she could do from gate 1.
The 3-year-old races deploy, and there's a couple of others that are being spruiked about as well. And
yeah,
you got that
trials.
Yep.
Yatana, nice filly from the Cummings camp. So, look, interesting week. I think the races look exciting on Saturday. So the return of First Seal, it's somewhat. See Burbero try and mix it with some of the really top class horses.
Yeah.
So, interesting day, and hopefully this weather holds up.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, Az. See you next week.
See you next week. Happy punting.
See you guys.